With rising temperatures and growing health concerns linked to climate change, ensuring students have access to clean, safe drinking water has become even more important. With us this morning to discuss the school water access projects are Kaj Archer, she's the Health Education and Promotion Officer at Healthy Bahamas Coalition, and we also have Cyprian Gibson, he's the Deputy General Manager at Water and Sewage. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
All right, so this project sounds really exciting. Tell us a little bit about the School Water Access Project.
Sure. So the School Water Access Project came out of a forum we would have had last year with stakeholders from schools, public health officials, government officials, and it was expressed that there is a need for free water in our schools. You know, a lot of the water you have to pay for. And so that presents a challenge for some of the economically disadvantaged children. And as temperatures rise due to climate change, we just really want to make sure that everyone has access to water at all times.
Okay, so this is going into several schools here in the Bahamas.
Correct. So it's going to start with a pilot project that will initially target 6 schools, 4 primary and 2 upper level. And then we hope to expand to the rest of the Bahamas.
Okay, so how do you go about picking these 6 schools?
So we have a working group of several stakeholders, and within that working group are Ministry of Education representatives. And so they would have suggested several schools they thought would be particularly ideal to include in the project. And so we selected the schools from that listing and just made sure we had schools from the several districts across New Providence to make sure every area was covered.
Okay, and Mr. Gibson, I mean, water and sewage, tell us, I mean, the link seems obvious, but tell us, how are you involved?
Well, you know, we are the provider of choice for the whole of the Bahamas,
yes.
25 islands and keys, we provide water to. And of course, very important stakeholders as we support this initiative, providing water to all stakeholders, especially clinics and schools.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I'm thinking back to when I was in school, and maybe they still have this, you know, the little water fountains that like sprout up like that? It always went up in your nose. So we're doing away with that now. And so tell us just what the structure of this water system looks like in the schools.
Right, so it is a contactless bottle filler. So unlike some of the older models that might have been in schools in years past, it doesn't have the mouthpiece, so it's more sanitary. You simply put your bottle on the platform, there's a sensor that fills the bottle, and that's it. It's touchless, there's no contact, so it's more sanitary and ideal for kids, especially after COVID.
Okay, and I'm thinking, I mean, we live in the Bahamas, the temperatures are always rising, right? It's always hot. Why do you think it took so long for us to get to this point? I don't know who wants to answer that one.
Well, I think it's evolution, and it's a new need, and we provide water to all customers throughout the Bahamas. And I just think it's an added level. The quality of water that we provide is to World Health Organization standard, and that's to all individuals. But sometimes people evolve that they want to use bottled water.
Yes.
And this is a lot more economical than the bottled water.
Right, absolutely. So kids are just going to have to come to school with their refillable water bottles, and then, you know, they've got access to water.
Correct.
I could see everybody lining up to the fountains, right?
Yes.
And is it just one sort of a system, or are there several of them in one school? How does that look?
So there is one brand that we have chosen, a specific model, and for the pilot project, there will be 2 in each of the 6 schools that we've chosen. But of course, you know, schools have different populations, and so the need will vary based on those populations.
Right, okay.
But with regard to the water bottles, we will also be providing water bottles to the 6 pilot schools that we have selected.
Okay, nice. So I just want to know, I mean, the future for this particular program, because we're starting off with 6 schools, but we've got so many schools here in the Bahamas and the Family Island, right? So what does the future look like for this program?
So we will be utilizing our private partnerships to fund the remaining schools in the Bahamas. The pilot schools will be funded by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And so we do hope to expand, like I said, to the rest of the Bahamas and just ensure that all of our schools have free potable water in them for our students and staff.
All right. And what's the benefit of this particular system? I know you said it's contactless, but what are the other benefits?
So there are several benefits, not only of the device, but the program in itself. So typically we use the water fountains, with the 5-gallon water bottles, and you have to continuously replace that. You won't have to do that with this system, so it saves on waste, right? You don't have the single-use plastics with the cups that you always have to use with those devices. There's also increased water consumption. We know that our children are not consuming enough water. Fewer than 2 in 10 teenagers in the Bahamas consume enough water, according to the recent Global School Health Survey. And of course, there's the environmental impact, positive. Fewer plastics, ideal for the environment. So generally, it's a very sustainable oriented project, and we just want to ensure that children always have access to water when they need it.
I love that. And I mean, how else does the water and sewage, how else do you support the schools when it comes down to water?
Well, we ensure that first and foremost the supply is top notch at World Health Organization standard. Added benefit of this program is economics, because you would buy 1 bottle of water for $1. And the Water and Sewage Corporation, in conjunction with the government of Bahamas and Ministry of Finance, we provide water to the schools. And so with the use of, once you get past the container, you're able to basically fill up for free. So instead of spending $1 a day to buy bottled water every day, then you get basically free water.
Yeah, and they say you need like 8 glasses of water, right?
Yes.
So it's like $8 a day.
And so we're proud to support this initiative.
Yes.
And it's an added benefit to all the students.
Of course. And you said it's coming on in September.
So the project will start in mid-August. So we hope to have the devices in the schools ahead of the school term, so that students will have the fresh, shiny new devices in their schools and access to water when the school terms begin.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to say to the public about this particular project?
Just want to emphasize the importance of water consumption and trying to reduce sugar-sweetened beverage consumption. So if you're having sodas or juices consistently throughout the day, try swapping it out for water. And that's why we've named the project SWAP. So it is an action, you want to swap out those juices, those sodas for water.
I love that. Well, it's been a pleasure having you both on. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. This sounds exciting, water in schools with the contactless one. I mean, I could already see the kids just being so excited just to use that device.
Level.
Yes, a new level.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.